Hello and welcome back to Square One Games. My name is Exonovic. I'm here to show you how to get another trophy from Uncharted 4. It's called Charted Crushing. We have to complete the game in crushing mode. Now this video is going to serve as both the introduction to the series and I'm going to be walking you through the laundry fight sequence in Chapter 2, Infernal Place. The reason why I wanted to make this more of an introduction video as well is because there's going to be some things we are going to do in this series and there's some things we're not going to do in this series, and I just wanted to make sure that you understood that before you decide that, whether or not you want to watch this particular series. So let's go over a couple things that we're not going to do. We're not going to be using auto aim. We are not going to be using any of the bonus cheats that you can get, like infinite ammo, slowing down time, stuff like that. We're going to be playing the game normally, okay? And the reason why I'm doing this is because I think there's going to be some players out there, some purist players who just want to go through on crushing without any help from the game, if you will. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to make the guide for that type of player. Now, from what I'm reading on forums, it is possible to get this trophy while having some of the cheats enabled and using the auto aim lock-on feature. So that is entirely up to you as a player, and I cannot confirm that that actually works because I'm not playing my game that way. So you're gonna have to figure that out on your own, okay? But I have heard that it does work. So if you're having issues, maybe that's something that you might need to do. But I'm hoping to make a guide that will get you through the game whether you're having issues or not, in the purest of form, right? Without having those cheats enabled and without being able to lock on. And to be honest, if I do my job correctly making these guides, you won't need those features. You won't even want to turn those features on, and that's kind of my plan with this series. Now, the second thing I wanted to cover is how are we going to be making this run? Are we going to be going stealth or are we going to be going combat? Because you guys know in this game, they've introduced a full stealth cover mechanic, meaning you can be surrounded by bushes and that sort of stuff and sneak up on enemies. And that's never really been the case with Uncharted 1, 2, and 3. It's always been that you could stealth, but you weren't completely covered by the environment while you did it. You still had to take cover behind crates and barrels and stuff like that, but you were still vulnerable to a degree. And in this game, you actually can be fairly well hidden inside of bushes and things like that. So what I've decided to do is I'm gonna pick the best method for each combat area. So sometimes we're going to be stealthing, sometimes we're going to be going in there full guns blazing, and sometimes we're going to be doing a hybrid of both, okay? Now there are certain combat sequences in this where I'm going to show you multiple ways to get through it because the combat can be a little bit tricky in this game, which we'll get to in a second, and you may want to stealth, even though I think combat may be the best way to get through that particular sequence. It may not work for everybody because it does require a little bit more finesse and skill than the previous 3 games did. So if you just happen to be a player who's having issues with that combat sequence, then I'm going to be showing you a stealth sequence as well, and then you can of course pick which one you prefer. And the last thing, we are not going to be going through this entire game. You guys know in Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 when I cover those with the Nathan Drake collection, I just covered the combat sequences, okay? I didn't cover the puzzles, and I cut out all the fat from the game and just gave you the combat sequences because that really should be all that you need help with when it comes to crushing. So that's all I'm going to be showing you in this game too. The great thing about this game is that it has the encounter select feature in the menu, and that's really what I'm going to be using to create this guide. Whatever combat situation is in that encounter select menu is what I'm going to be covering in this series. Now keep in mind that there are little small skirmishes that you get into throughout the game where you might have to take on 3 to 5 enemies or something like that in various parts of the game. I will not be covering those just because I feel like those are extremely simple. And I feel like you should be able to get through those kind of on your own, very similar to what we did like I said, in the first 3 games in this series, and you guys seem to be able to handle yourself pretty well with that. Obviously, if you have any questions about those small skirmish areas or something like that, then let me know, and maybe I can post a separate video and put it in the series to show you how to get through it. But I think for now, I'm just going to go with the encounter select menu. And we're going to go that route. And so the videos will be titled, like Chapter 2. I think this one's going to have a title something similar to Chapter 2 Laundry Fight. Okay, so you're going to know which combat sequence we're going to be getting into because it's going to match it's going to match the combat sequence inside of the encounter select menu. All right, so that pretty much wraps up the intro. Let's get into the laundry fight sequence in chapter number 2. It's called Infernal Place. This takes place after you get the cross from the tower, and you have that big laundry fight sequence with you, your brother, and Rafe. Now, this can be extremely tricky if you try to fight, I guess, the way that the game wants you to fight, like getting in there and brawling and having a bunch of enemies around you and stuff like that. And what you're going to find is that the best way to get through this on the crushing difficulty is to only fight when you can fight alongside of Sam. Okay, you're going to be dominant against every enemy that you face. What's going to happen as soon as the sequence starts, you're going to have to hit triangle to get out of a grab that one of the enemies has over you. Go ahead and press that as fast as you can. Once you're free, roll a couple of times. And what you're going to do is run around the perimeter of the area. Okay, and then obviously you're hitting O to roll if you see an enemy near you, and then you're just kind of moving your camera angle around to see when you can find Sam. Sam is going to periodically ask for help. He's going to grab enemies and hold them for you, or he's going to be getting beat up on himself. Sometimes an enemy will even grab him. That's kind of like your cue to go in there and press square a lot and take that enemy out. You see what I'm saying? Because you're either going to go in there and do that buddy slam that you guys do, or it's going to be a one-hit kill. Anytime that Sam is holding an enemy, even in combat, and we'll get to this later on in this particular series because we're going to have to be talking about conserving ammo. Anytime he's holding an enemy, it's a one-shot kill, so which is great. And so you can use that to your advantage in this situation. The only time that you should ever really be getting hit in this combat sequence is if you get like a random punch from one of the the random enemies, because sometimes your camera angle will be in a weird position and you won't see an enemy and they'll kind of punch you off screen. That happens a bit. Or the actual fight with the guy with the tank top on, the guy that you fought in the yard earlier. That's kind of like the boss fight in this area. He will probably hit you some too, but you can take some shots on crushing. Okay, I know a lot of us are coming off the brutal difficulty for Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, but it's not that bad. Crushing is a cakewalk compared to what brutal was, in my opinion. So that's all you really have to do, guys, and that's what you're seeing on screen right now. Is I'm just running around, biding time, waiting for Sam to need my help, or seeing when I can help Sam, and taking care of business. Eventually, over time, the major boss of the area, the guy with the tank top, will come out. Once he comes out, just focus all your attention on him. Hopefully Sam helps you. That does get the fight started a bit, but later on it'll just be you and him. Just make sure that you keep following your button prompts. You guys know that when you want to punch, you hit square. When they grab you, you hit triangle, and when they swing at you, you hit O, right, to roll out of the way. That's kind of the button sequences. You're not going to get any button prompts or anything on crushing, so you just kind of have to have it memorized. But that's all you have to do to get through the very first sequence in the game, laundry fight. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you right back here in the next one. You guys be good.
Hey, get off! Ay, espera.
Ya basta de hablar.